This video has the power to change so many lives. I am honestly scared. Who is the most confident person you can think of? For me, it's someone like Maharani Gayatri Devi, Kate Middleton, even Aishwarya Rai. But would you believe at some point in their lives, they have probably been told they're not pretty enough, they're not confident enough, they're not bold enough, they're not out there, they're too introverted. Did that impact their confidence? I read this line the other day, and that is actually what motivated me to film this video for you. And that line went something like, if you wait to act confident until you're actually confident, you will be waiting your entire life. So in this video, I thought of putting together some ways that I have learned to embrace who I am and be more confident. And while this may sound like, oh, it's too good to be true, you make it sound so easy, it's not that easy in reality. If you follow what I tell you in this video, you will see a remarkable change in yourself. And I'll give things to you as they are. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Some things might be harsh, some things might be difficult to follow, but good things don't come easy. First thing to do is to tell yourself you are already confident. The entire logic of fake it till you make it only goes so far, and you know what? Sometimes it doesn't even work. What do we do instead? We all have insecurities. So instead of faking it, you might as well face it. If it's an insecurity like, let's say you're scared of talking to strangers, that's something that you can fix. But if it's something related to, let's say, a physical insecurity, I always say if you can embrace it, please embrace it. But if you honestly cannot do anything about it, you cannot embrace it, you still do not like it, you absolutely want to change that thing forever, go ahead and change it. That is why when people ask me, are you against plastic surgery? Are you against this and that? You know what? These are life-changing surgeries. So be careful when you even think about this. But if at all it comes to a point where you really do not feel confident without getting a certain thing done, so be it. We all have a dream life, right? We'll come to this dream life point in just a bit, but act as if you already have that dream life. Whatever you want in your life, be it a big house, be it a better job, be it a promotion, be it a nice family, whatever it is, act as if you already own that thing. You have it in you. Once you start doing this over and over and over again, you get in this cycle of actually believing that that is who you are. And it's not just about things that you want, it's also about qualities that you want in yourself. So let's say you want to be a more charismatic person. Let's say you want to be able to talk to people easily. Let's say you want to go into a store and you want to make heads turn. Let's say you want to dress in a better way. Whatever it is, learn how to already be that person. If you really want a certain thing or a certain trait in yourself, why not think like you already have it? Now, there is a harsh reality that I want to break to you, and I'm scared of saying this, but truth be told, looks do matter. So you want to work on how you look, how you are perceived. And looks do not just mean how you comb your hair and how your eyebrows are done and what kind of makeup you use. It's also your social etiquette. It's how you groomed you are, how presentable you are, how nicely you talk to the other person, what kind of finishing do you have in you. When you step into a room where nobody knows you, it is entirely on you to decide who you want to be and how you want others to perceive you. Another thing that you want to do is you want to smell nice. When we talk about fighting your insecurities, it could even mean something which isn't like a permanent insecurity, but something you feel in the moment. For example, if you have body odor, we all have body odor, right? Use nice smelling deodorants and perfumes. Use a nice new soap. Wear colors that suit you. Listen to music when you walk. Look at your favorite people. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. Keep that in mind every time you feel underconfident. Point number 2 is to know thyself. Have an opinion. Know who you are. What are your core beliefs? What are your likes and dislikes? What are your pet peeves? What are things that you are really good at? What are things that you are really bad at? When you start doing this, you stop comparing yourself to others. Now, as a kid growing up in India, I was compared to even my best friends when it came to school grades. And to be honest, that's the story of most Indian households I know. Slowly and gradually, for every single thing, I started comparing myself to this person, and I was always feeling less than her. Why? Because my grades were not matching up to hers. What if she was just more academically strong and let's say I wasn't? Although when I chose my subjects in 10th grade, turned out I was really sharp. Learn to lean into your strengths. You are good at a certain thing, know yourself. Ask yourself, what are some things that I'm really, really good at? Once you start understanding who you are as a person, when you meet somebody who does not know themselves, you can make out. I know this sounds very philosophical, too spiritual, but trust me, this is so true. If you know what I mean, leave a comment down below. When you start understanding what are your likes, dislikes, pet peeves, what are things you're good at, what are things you're not good at, what is your love language, you stop seeking external validation. Know who you are at the core of your being. Now, some people like to go for these meditative practices for that. I feel like you can do it even while living your everyday normal life. Completely depends on you. But if there's one thing that will actually change your life, it is to know yourself, because that's when you actually stop comparing yourself to others and you know that, okay, this is who you you are and you're self-sufficient, and once you know it, once you start believing in it, you will see a remarkable shift in yourself. There are so many people who leave such negative comments on social media, and now if I started paying attention to each and every one, they would bother me so much, and I would start comparing myself to I don't know how many other creators. But the reason I am still here sitting in front of you after almost 7.5 years of doing YouTube is because I know who I am at my core. I know what kind of content I want to make, and that helps me be confident and raw and real in front of the camera. There are a lot of people who will not have an opinion, who will follow the opinion of someone else who is, let's say, more popular than them just to sort of fit into the crowd. You do not want to do that. Yes, if you believe in that, you will agree to that opinion. But if you don't believe in that, have an opinion. Now, I'm not saying go around throwing your opinion everywhere, but when you know who you are at the core, you will know what you stand for. A good starting point to know who you are is to take inspiration, and I always say have a role model. It does not have to be just one. You can have multiple role models. For me, it is my mom, it's Kate Middleton, it is Maharani Gayatri Devi, as I said. These are people I genuinely look up to, and it is because of having these role models that I'm able to understand who I am even. And we all get inspired from certain things, from things we read, from things we see. Might as well choose the right role models to shape who you are. And then once you know who and how you want to be, show up as your highest self. And when you have decision fatigue, when you can't decide, do I want this, do I want that, should I do this, should I do that, is this good or is that good, show up as your highest self, because she will be able to decide. And by the way, your highest self is already within you. You just have to use a few tips and tricks and a few strategies to unlock who she is. Next up, we are building up evidence, and this is my favorite part. This is the part where you get serious about what you're passionate about and what you want to do for the rest of your life. As humans, most of us are very achievement oriented. When we don't have something to look forward to, when we don't have a goal in front of us, we tend to lose motivation. As an example, if I know I have to reach a certain number of subscribers, it will motivate me to create more content, and for that content to perform well, I would want to spend time scripting, I'd want to spend time leveling up my production value. Compare that to someone who does not have a goal, who does not know what they want to achieve. Their sense of identity is not going to be as strong. They will not see themselves as positively. As most of you probably already know, I did get engaged and my marriage is coming up soon, and because of that, I have not been able to spend a lot of time filming videos. There was a point where I was so lost. I was like, I just need to film videos. I don't know who I am without filming videos, because that's just how passionate I am about this certain thing, and I want to achieve my goal, and I need to take out time to film videos. The fact that I felt lost about who I am, what I'm doing, is because I was not able to achieve my goal. We all need a goal. Speaking of achievements, I want you to look back on everything that you have achieved so far. Make a list of everything that you've accomplished, and this does not have to be just work related or just school or college related. This can even be making new friends, shifting to a new house, getting new roommates, getting out of a toxic relationship. If it's even a small step forward towards the person you want to be, add that to the list. From now on, you will keep building evidence that you are this person. In fact, for a friend of mine, when she was going through her breakup, we both sat together and I even made a proper Canva portfolio of all of her past achievements, which were more curricular oriented. So all of her internships, all of the articles she's written, all of the projects she's done, yada yada yada, because she was looking for a new job. But you guys, if you want to level up, you also need to build yourself some evidence. If you want to become a more polished person, someone with really good social etiquette, you want to think and act like that person, and you want to make sure everything around you is similar as well. So start going to such places, start reading books about that, start practicing it in your everyday life. If you want to become a more, let's say, hygienic person, you want to make sure you're getting yourself a nice shower gel, a nice soap, whatever, and you want to keep your surroundings clean. You want to wake up every day, make sure your room is nice and clean, your house is pretty, get maybe a nice bouquet of flowers for your entryway. Just small little things that help you embody the person you want to become. Next up, control and curate your social media. As I said, comparison is probably the worst thing ever. Like, I hate comparison so much. I was compared, as I said, to my best friend throughout my growing up years, and I hated every bit of it. As adults, that comparison has shifted to social media, and instead of elders comparing us, it is now us comparing ourselves. And let me tell you, that is even more toxic. A word of disclaimer, I do not blame my parents for doing this. That was the best they knew. They were trying to motivate us. We know better now, and we know that comparison is not the healthiest thing to do. Yes, a little bit here and there is still fine for that boost of motivation, but anything in excess is unhealthy. The biggest problem I see with our generation, and I don't mean to sound like someone who is probably 50 years old and does not understand our generation, I very well do, but the biggest problem I see is we start comparing ourselves to girls sitting in the US, to girls sitting in the UK. Are we in the same place? Are we in the same field? Are we in the same headspace as them? Probably not. We're different. Our culture is different. Our features are different. If you compare yourself to an influencer sitting in LA doing her makeup, showing you how it looks on her, and then you do the same thing with products that you find here in your budget, do you think the results are going to be the same? No. You might as well follow creators who are from the same region as you, who have the same features as you, whom you can honestly relate to. That's how influencers can influence you in the right direction rather than making you feel smaller about yourself. The other day, I bumped into a subscriber and she said, I love your lifestyle. I love the way you do everything. And I was shocked and I was like, really? Because more often than not, I'm in bed editing looking like a really big couch potato. I'll be probably the 270th person to say this, but you see the highlight reel, you do not see the reality. The reality is far from what you see online. Things are edited. There's a Paris filter on everything. So please stop comparing yourself, because that really kills your confidence. Start consciously using social media. I've spoken about role models in the past and even in this video. Follow your role models. Find more people like your role model. And if you really must take skincare or makeup or any kind of physical trait inspiration from an influencer, ideally you should try and follow people who are from the same area, the same region, the same city or the same country. Unless of course it's something like fashion inspiration, in which case it's fine. You can take fashion inspiration. If it's related to your physical features and you find yourselves constantly comparing and contrasting, please avoid doing that. Let's do more localization than globalization over there. Next up, we're visualizing the kind of life that we want to have in the next 3 months. So you have 3 months to bring it all together. What is the first thing you want to do? If you ask me, I would Pinterest the hell out of Pinterest. Start with the smallest of things: joining the gym, setting a routine for yourself, learning a new language, making a vision board, cleaning up your room, redecorating your space, taking the course that you wanted to take, starting a podcast you wanted to start. I want you to write a little reminder for yourself, because the moment this video is done, this is the first thing you should be thinking about. Let's say it's starting your podcast. Once you start the podcast you've been thinking about, that will add so much confidence to your life, because that will tell you were actually able to do it. You've been thinking about this certain project for the longest time. You've started doing it. It will add so much confidence to your being. One thing I would highly recommend is to make your vision board. It really costs nothing. All you need is Pinterest and you need like a nice collage making app. People make vision boards sound so elaborate. You don't have to do all of that jazz. If you just want something simple, you can take out 5 minutes. You look at some images that you really resonate with. If you want, I can do an entire video on how to make a vision board for yourself. Leave a comment down below if you'd like that. But just take out some images that you really resonate with, that are really true to you. You want to achieve those things, and make like a nice grid, make a collage for yourself. Every single year I've done this. I make a 3x3 grid, so I have 9 images on the grid. And every year, end of December, when I look back at my vision board, I've achieved at least 7 out of the 9 things that I wanted to achieve. Visualize how you want your life to be. If you want to move to a new place, find images. Go onto websites like 99 Acres or Square Yards or whatever website you use, and try to find images of the house that you might want to buy. Once you start visualizing this, you are motivated to achieve it even more. Educate yourself. If you're in a group of people and they're talking about a certain thing and you do not know about that thing, first of all, it's okay to once in a while not know about a certain thing, because you cannot be learning about every single thing on the face of earth. I get it. But educate yourself about general knowledge, about current affairs. Imagine sitting in a group of people where everybody's talking about something and you do not know what to contribute to the group, or you do not know what they're talking about. That is going to lead to underconfidence. I can tell you right now, there is a difference in the way educated people talk and the way, I wouldn't say uneducated, but the way that people who do not value education talk. And when I say education, I really mean more than just school and college. I mean, what are you doing to fuel yourself every single day? What are you doing to learn more every single day? You always want to keep learning, whatever field you're in. Another thing I would recommend when you're trying to level up your lifestyle is try doing things yourself. Now, I'm not saying asking for help is wrong, but when you do things yourself, it again leads to so much confidence that you start having in yourself. Before I went to London for my master's, I was staying with my family and literally everything I wanted was just served to me. And when I went to London, when I was doing things myself, when I was repairing the fridge myself, and when I was taking care of myself when I was sick, I realized I can actually do this. And these small acts build your confidence. These are very small things, by the way. You can fix your own fridge and you can treat yourself when you're sick, but just the fact that you do not need others, you are self-sufficient, it creates so much confidence. Small word of caution, you do not want to take this to the other extreme where you're hyper independent. As I said, it is okay to ask for help. Please do when needed. But when you're faced with a new situation and you have to try and do something, your first reaction should be, I want to try and do this by myself. Next up, be vulnerable. We do not like an Andrew Tate mindset. We are not the best. We are not going to be the best, because that is someone who is egoistic and not confident. And there is a big difference between ego and confidence. Ego has no elegance in it. Confidence very much does. Ego is fragile and it is easily shattered. It's like the facade of a house. It is not the entire house built on a very strong foundation. Ego is all about me. I am the center of attention. It is me who matters, not you. It's all about my opinions and how I am better than the rest. And that is what actually shatters your inner self. You want to know the difference? Confidence is self-assured. Ego seeks validation. Confidence focuses on your personal growth, whereas ego compares yourself to others. Confidence will always embrace constructive criticism, whereas ego will resist getting feedback. Embrace being a human. It is okay to make mistakes. Your younger self made mistakes, but you still love your younger self, right? Know that you won't always look pretty, be cool, be the most popular person, but at the end of the day, you still will love yourself as long as you're actually really confident in who you are. Next thing to do 2 is to stop people pleasing. Self-love and self-respect are two concepts people often mix and get confused with. Let me break this down for you. It's good to help others. In fact, you should, but you should not let anybody walk over you. Do not put yourself in situations where you feel love, but then there are conditions attached to love, especially when it comes to something like a really strong relationship or marriage or friendship. You don't want to waste your time, and you don't want people wasting your time either. Anytime you feel like saying, sorry about this, I'm so sorry I didn't do this, instead say thank you for being patient. Why do you want to be sorry? Why do you want to keep apologizing for something that really isn't even a fault to begin with? I know this point has been said over and over again by probably a million other people, but trust me, this is so true. You want to surround yourself with people who bring out the best in you, people who are of the same vibe as you, people who chill in the same way that you do, because that's when you really find your group. Unless it's a professional thing, in which case things are different. When it comes to your personal life, your friends, they need to really pull you up. I had this friend who had this really bad habit of making things all about herself. Every single time we met, it was all about, you know what I did, you know what I accomplished, you know what I'm going to do. And we were all so bugged. But then there came a point where I was like, this is not going to work long term. And I hate confrontation. Take this from me. Coming from a person who hates confrontation, the more you practice, the easier it gets. This again does not mean you start confronting anybody and everybody you see, but if it's really needed, go for it. True confidence means you are so self-assured, you do not need external validation. And when you know who you are at the core, you are happy with your own company. Next up is body language. The first thing people see when you walk into a room is your posture. They see how confident you are. They see your body language. My best friend is a model, and I have seen the way she poses when she's all confident, when she likes the outfit. It's all open posing. Her hands are out, compared to when she does not like the outfit. She's not vibing in it. She's not feeling very confident in the outfit. I can see her body language is just, very closed, very droopy. It's not as fun, as engaging, as open. Even from the way you sit in your pictures, people can sense how confident you are. Now, if you'd like to learn more about body language, I do have an entire book that I've authored called The Glow Up Guide. We talk about how to sit right, how to stand right, how to enter and exit a car gracefully. Apart from body language, there are chapters like how you can host parties, how you can be a nice guest at parties, how you can decorate your space, how you can organize your entire life. All of that is in this book. You can get it on Amazon, Notion Press, and on Flipkart. I'll leave the link to it down below in the description box, so make sure you get your hands on this, because this is truly the glow up guide. There's more about body language in the book, but I'll give you a little hack right over here. When you're talking to somebody, look into their eyes. There are so many times where we're so confused about where to look on their face. Stare into their eyes. Try not looking sideways when you're talking to somebody. Look at them when you're talking to them. This honestly is more than just body language. This is a good way to tell somebody you respect what they're saying, you respect their time and the fact that they're there. And when you look the other way, even if you're listening to them, it just seems like you're not respecting them enough, and that's not good body language. You want to think to yourself, what is the color of this person's eye? That's how much you should look at them, and not sideways, if that makes sense. And finally, trust that you are good. You're a good person. You're doing your best. There is nothing more that you can do. There are people who are arrogant. I meet a lot of people at events who are so arrogant. They act like they own the place. When I was new to all of this, when I didn't understand how this industry works, I used to think, well, maybe they're just very confident and I'm not. And now that I've worked upon myself and I know who I am and what I stand for, I am not like those people. And that's the difference between ego and confidence. And that's what I want you guys to develop as well. You need to be there for other people. You need to be a good human being. You need to do small acts of kindness every single day, so that tomorrow when someone comes to you and says, oh, you're not a good person, oh, you're this, and oh, you have this flaw in you, you know in your heart that you've done good. You know you're a good person, and you've proved it to yourself over and over and over again. Nothing else matters, because you are blessed, and you will be blessed by all of those people whom you help, who are around you. Once again, this doesn't mean turn into a people's pleaser. That's not what we're going to do. But you want to be a good person right here, and you want to act like it. Have strong values. Believe in those values. What are your core values? What are things that truly mean a lot to you? What are things that you feel sad when you see others go through? And how can you help others stand up? This is what builds real, authentic confidence. Yes, it's about what you wear and how you dress and what makeup products you're using and how you style yourself right and how you sit right and how you talk right, but it's also about this. And you know what? More importantly, it is about this. Change the way your brain thinks about you yourself. I would recommend go do some kind of charity at least once a month. Stop rotting in bed. You need to have a positive sense of self, a positive self-identity. Go to the gym, do something with your life, because that is what builds confidence. And stop talking negatively to yourself. If you always keep comparing yourselves to others, if you always keep saying that you're not pretty enough, you're not bold enough, you're not extroverted enough, you're not confident enough, it will be so hard to be with yourself. Know that everyone around you, your family, your friends, everyone who matters, they are all rooting for you. And even if you feel like you don't have that kind of support circle, you yourself are rooting for you. You have the blessings of every single person you have been there for in howsoever many years you have been alive on this planet. They're all believing in you. They're all rooting for you. They're all supporting you. And most of all, I am rooting for you. I saw this graphic the other day which basically says you need to take your daily dose, and I would like to call this the daily dose of confidence. And I just want you to do one thing out of this entire list. So DOSE, D stands for dopamine. Dopamine is basically like the reward hormone which you can get when you complete a task, when you make your own bed in the morning, when you complete your daily to-do list, even when you take a nap, when you appreciate your little wins. O stands for oxytocin, and this is the love hormone. Give compliments to your friends, even strangers for that matter. When you go out shopping and you see somebody wearing a beautiful dress, go up to her and say, I love your dress. It'll make the other person feel good, but more than them, it'll make you feel so good about yourself. Listen to music. Give a hug to somebody you love. S stands for serotonin. This is like the mood stabilizer hormone. So you could spend some time in nature, take a cold shower, do some yoga, whatever works for you. P stands for endorphins, which are the natural painkillers in your body. Move your body every single day. Go to the gym, dance, be creative. You don't always see a 0 to 100 jump in your confidence levels unless you're, of course, faking it to make it. True, real, authentic confidence takes time to build, and these are small little ways in which you can start building your confidence right after you're done watching this video. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and leave your comments down below. I would love to know what other videos you'd like to watch. And if you're new here, I make a lot of such videos helping you level up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Till then, bye-bye.